when you look at David Johnson, when you look at,
I don't.
Yeah, I run the other way.
But this is a guy that I ran the other way from last year, and because he did get a lot of work, enough work, ended up being a useful fantasy option.
You got your return on investment for David Johnson.
Exactly.
You should be happy with what you got last year, but last year's gone. If there's no Deshaun Watson, you're talking about a bottom 2 offense, probably bottom 1 offense.
Yeah.
You mean Jacksonville last year? That's what you mean. This is what the
No, this is worse. This is worse because James Robinson had no competition. He now has to deal with Mark Ingram and Phillip Lindsay. He has to deal with a bad quarterback situation. He's got 1 good offensive lineman. He's got a bad defense that's not going to give him opportunities to be successful. This is the worst team in the NFL. This is also the oldest roster in the NFL.
Who's going to catch because of what they're trailing?
Huh?
He's got no more Duke Johnson, right? So who's going to catch the passes when they're trailing?
It could change on a week-to-week basis.
Why wouldn't it be him?
I think if you get David Johnson as a potential flex option in round 5 or later, that's fine. But if you're counting on him being anything close to what he was even last year, I think you're making a mistake. He's almost 30. He's not going to be the primary ball carrier. He had 33% of his receptions.
He's not going to be the primary ball carrier?
No, he's going to be sharing with those other 2 guys.
I think he'll still lead them when he's healthy.
He'll lead them in carries, but it's not going to be he won't be the workhorse like he was last year. I'll rephrase it.
Okay, yeah.
33% of his receptions came in 1 game last year. So throw that out. He had 11 catches in 1 game.
But Deshaun Watson doesn't throw to his running back. So Deshaun Watson, oddly enough, he steals rushing touchdowns and he doesn't throw to his running backs.
We don't know if Davis Mills is going to do that. And Tyrod Taylor is not exactly the most prolific passer to his running backs either. So this is just a horrible situation. It stinks. David Johnson, give him all the credit in the world for coming back after, the miserable ending to his Arizona career, which was probably unfair how it ended. He was great last year. He was absolutely great. Again, like I told you, if you would have said Todd Gurley and David Johnson were a good pairing, most people probably laugh at that. But Gurley beginning, Johnson at the end, that was good. David Johnson was a very good return on investment.
Well, there was a lot of middle there that we're kind of overlooking. That was bad for both of them.
Yeah.
But they got touches. That's the point. That's the point of this episode.
I don't think David Johnson's getting those same touches.
Yeah.
Not unless guys start getting cut. And maybe Ingram doesn't make the team, and that'll make it a little bit easier.
Be surprised knowing his relationship with the head coach.
I agree. But, he's even older than DJ. So there's a chance that he ends up not making the team. Or Phillip Lindsay doesn't end up making the team because he just doesn't look good. And
I hated that.
They can't use. I did too, because he's not a 3-down player.
I wanted to see him go somewhere else to get a chance. Like, this is just, you're putting him 3rd on the depth chart, maybe 2nd at best, for a situation that's going to be just awful.
Their whole damn roster looks like a used car lot.
Okay,
both sides of the ball. It's just here's an old car, and here's another old car. Here's a used car, maybe gently used, but still used.
Yeah. Then there's Brandon Cooks,
and then there's he's a little used too. And then you've got Davis Mills, which is like a brand new car with no engine.
We're having this conversation now, just assuming that Deshaun Watson is not going to be their quarterback this year. It kind of feels that way. That kind of feels like that's the conversation we're having. Is that how your approach? You are.
It changes for sure if Deshaun Watson's there, because then all of a sudden you have the guy who was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Again, forgetting the off-field stuff, this is just a football conversation. Deshaun Watson makes that team competitive. They're not a bottom 1 offense. They're not a bottom 1 team. He makes them relevant, but relevant for them last year was 4 wins. So it's not exactly like this is a great team to begin with the better quarterback, but it's a better offense with Deshaun Watson there. It's better for the running backs. And so, yes, it does help David Johnson tremendously if Deshaun Watson's there.
Yeah, well, it does. You want him on a better offense, but they have not had a running back score more than 6 rushing touchdowns since 2014. That was when Arian Foster scored 8.
And there'll be a 10% chance it doesn't happen again.
That's it.